Folks, this is Rose from In Rose's Garden, and in the past, Randy Brown of Thunder Horse Descendant and I have been working on the Missing Link book. Well, we haven't done any for quite some time, but I am going to do one today. Missing Link is our book, and we're going to work on our next link, which is the over-under. Now, I will tell you that I have gone through that I have read the instructions, though I haven't done anything with it, and I find it sort of confusing. So hopefully we can get this without being going, ugh, what am I doing? So let's turn down and we'll get started on it. Here we are. We're working on the over-under link on page 86 and 87. And the first thing it wants us to have is 8 inches of 16 gauge pure copper wire. I don't have pure copper wire. I have either 16 gauge in a gold German style or 16 gauge in a silver German style. Now, I read down here into number 1, and it says flush cut 2 4-inch pieces of the wire. So I'm going to use one 4-inch piece and one 6 from each color. And so the other thing it says we need is chain nose pliers, flat nose pliers, round nose pliers, bell making pliers in the 8.5, that's this size, step pliers in 5 millimeter. This is 5 on this side, so I don't see any reason to go to the stepped. Flush cutters, chasing hammer, steel bench block. The other 3 things we're not going to have: liver of sulfur, steel wool, and rotary tumble. We don't use those. And the ruler to keep us on track. Where did I put my ruler? Here it is, right here. It says our finished size is 3/8 by 1 1/4, and the level of difficulty is more challenging. So let's set our tools aside. And the first thing we'll do is get our 4 inches of each color of our wire. So let's get, well, gold wants to come first, so gold will go first. We'll get our gold out here, straighten her up some. The flush cutters, we're going to cut this little bit off the end here. Now we'll cut 4 inches. There we go with our 4 inches of gold. Now let's get 4 inches of silver. Okay, so then we want 4 inches of silver. So now we've got our 2 pieces of wire that we have flush cut. Bend the middle of 1 piece of wire around the 6 millimeter barrel. They didn't ask for 6, they asked for 5. So that's what we... 6 millimeter barrel of the 6 millimeter barrel of the bell making pliers. Well, see this? They use the same ones here. So we're going to find the middle, which would be 2 inches, which is right here. And we will bend around that. It says form a teardrop. We're not quite even, but that's just going to have to be the case here. So form a teardrop. Okay, now we want to do the same with the gold. I obviously didn't have that one quite in the middle because, as you can see, we got a much bigger tail on one side. So over and we'd go down. So same with this one, even though I would have swore I just put them at 2, both of them. But so there's those 2 pieces. Now hammer the curves of both wires with the chasing hammer on the bench block. So we're going to have to get the bench block out. So let's pull this out for right now and we'll get going on that. So here's our bench block. Here's our 2 pieces. And it says hammer the ends. Well, it says hammer the curves is what it says. So now I want these to be more straight, I think. Okay. And even with each other. Okay. So we'll put the block away now and we'll see what the next instruction is. So we've done this and so we're on step 3. Grasp the wire 1/2 inch from the curve with the bell forming pliers. Bend the wire slightly over the 8.5 millimeter barrel, figure 2. So let's get the barrel and we want to go at the 1/2 inch slightly. So is that 1/2 inch about? So just a little bent. And we'll do that with this one as well. So we have our slight bend in there now, and we want to now hold the curved wires in each hand with the tail ends pointing at each other. And these are not even, and I want them to, they need to be even. Fairly positive they should be even. Well, they're relatively, okay. Holding the curved wires at each end with the tail ends pointing at each other. The curve of the left wire should be facing up. Curve of the right wire should be facing down. Okay, now we've got that done. And then insert the tails of the left wire into the curve of the right wire, then insert the tails of the right into the curve of the left, figure 3. So let's put this aside so we can see it better, and we will do that. So we want the curved wires with the tail ends pointing each other, curve of the left wire facing up, curve of the right wire facing down. Insert the tails of the wires into each other. Well, one into this side, and then the other into this side. And it says do one and then do the other, but I think it's easier just to do it at the same time, sort of like so. Oh boy. Slide the wires together slowly. Grasp the 12 wires with the flat and the chain nose pliers and pull to tighten the knot. Okay, so we'll need to get the pliers out. So we'll get one side with the chain nose, bing, one side with the flat nose, whoop, and pull them tight. Okay, I think that's about as tight as I'm going to get them. Okay, Now let's see what the next instruction shows. As you can see, that was figure 4. On one side of the link, trim the tail ends to 5/8 beyond the wire curve. Bend the 2 tail wires back 90 degrees away from the curve, one at a time with your chain nose pliers. Right there. So let's take our chain nose pliers. First we want to make that cut, don't we? It said 5/8 inch. So let's get our ruler back out and we'll cut at 5/8 inch. Turn it over, Rose, that's centimeters. Okay, so here's the curve, and we want to go to 5/8. Oh, it looks like this one is actually shorter than that already. May want to pull it a little bit further over here if we can, because it's not long enough. Oh, it keeps popping backwards is the problem. Okay. Well, hopefully once we are doing it, it won't. So that's about 5/8 right there. And we'll cut this other one down to match it. Now what we want to do, it says, is to, beyond the wire curve, bend the 2 tail wires back 90 degrees away from the curve, one at a time with your chain nose pliers. Now, I'm not sure I want to go one at a time. I might rather go to both of them, both at the same time, because then I can just hold them like that as I pull them up here, and then just bend them both at the same time, like so. I think that's easier. So there we go. Now what's the next thing to do? Figure 5. So this was figure 5. See, we just did figure 5. Now it says grasp both tail wires from step 6 at the same time with the 5mm barrel of the step pliers as shown. Roll the wires forward as far as you can to form a simple loop, figure 6. And using your chain nose pliers, close each loop around the curve of the wire. Squeeze the loops together so they are parallel. Then repeat 6 through 7 on the other wires. Okay. So it says take these 2 wires and bend them at the same time. They're not quite the same length. I'm going to cut this one so it is, or is it just the way it's sitting here? It's a little bit off, but not too much. But I do want them to be the same length. So now we're going to take and roll these. No, you have to go too. Oh, that one's all the way around. Okay, let's see if we can get this to, because it's supposed to go over this wire and meet itself here. So, same with this one. The difference is that this one, I think, lost its curve here. Yep, it did. And now we have to straighten it up somewhat. And now it wants us to push them together so they're parallel. Well, this one is at an angle here, and this is here. So let's see if we can get this fixed up here. They're supposed to be squished so they're parallel. So yes. But I think that's longer than it should be because I don't know that this has got enough for the 5/8 on the other side. Let's see. Oh yeah, it does. Okay. So now that we've got this side done, come over to this side and do the same thing. So we're going to cut to 5/8 inch. Here's what it says. Yes, squeeze the loops together so they're parallel. Repeat steps 6 through 7. 6 is cut the wires to 5/8 inch, but beyond the tail curve. So that would be 5/8 is right here. Cut the other one to match it. Okay, now we have the 5/8. And now we're supposed to bend our wires up at, it's right here from the bottom, yes. Bend these up 90 degrees. Come on, you guys. Up and over. Come on, you guys. Bend. Okay. There we go. We have the bend in those. I think this one can use a bit more. Okay, now we've got our 90-degree turn. Now we need to take our bell making pliers and roll a simple loop. Oops, this one isn't rolling at the same time. I had to roll them at the same time, but as you can see, this one is not rolling the same as that one is. So let's see if I can get it to, okay, that's better. Now we want to continue our simple loops as far as we can go, it said. Okay. Now see, it lost its bend. I don't know why it keeps losing the bend when we do the roll. So let's roll back. Dang it. It says finish with the pliers, but it doesn't want to go right, in my opinion, because it shouldn't be losing this bend here, but it is. See if we can roll it some more. No, it doesn't want to be rolled. Well, this has to go and loop like this side did, but it doesn't seem to want to. Because we've got our fold in there, we got to have the fold in there, and then we got to wrap it. Come on out. Hug, that one side went and rolled better than the other side again. Just don't understand that. But then I don't normally roll more than one thing at a time, usually. Okay. Okay, let's get this around in here like it's supposed to. It says it has to go over here. And it goes around and finishes off by hitting its simple loop by sending it over onto its own self like so. Now, I'm damaging the heck out of this wire though. But these need to go over this way because they're not in the right position, I don't think. Because supposed to be parallel to itself. So it needs to be squeezed so it's parallel to itself. But when I squeeze, they just sort of pop out of place for it and they go parallel to each other. See, this one is not. They're sort of crooked. Well, that's the finished link, but I'm not sure how much I care for it. It seems to want to, this end is just not behaving. But I suppose that's the way it's supposed to be, because that's the directions. But these wires are supposed to get closer to each other, and they really don't want to. They keep squishing apart, or pulling apart, I should say. So, don't know if I can get them any closer together or not. These were sitting pretty close together till I worked on the other side, and now they're pulled apart. And I don't know why it asked us for round nose pliers, because we didn't use them at all. So if you do this link, you don't have to worry about round nose pliers. We didn't use them. But yeah, there's our finished link. I'm not sure that it doesn't really look quite right. Anyway, not to me. I had some problems with it, obviously. This link is not all the way over and closed. But, no, it doesn't want to behave, because this wire should be straight here. And see how crooked it is down there? So I'm going to see if I can get it a little straight here. So straighten this, straighten this. These are straighter. In fact, these are much nicer. See how much better these loops behaved than these ones over here? And I don't know why that was. But anyway, there is our link. Here's our finished link. It does need to be tighter than this. I couldn't get it to go tighter, though it didn't want to. I think I may need to push it up here as opposed to down towards the bottom. Like I say, this one piece on the gold, it's crooked to the other one, and I don't know why. It just didn't want to behave. When we started to do our loops up here, these loops turned out really nicely, but these ones were not. They were fighting with me. so they're not quite as pretty as the other side, but I can see that this guy's going sideways to the bottom down here. But see how this one's not too horrible, but see how this one is. These are pretty straight on, but this one is just wants to be crooked and mangled, and I don't know why it did that. But, oop. That's actually a little better. But, still, I'm not happy with this gold section of this piece. I don't think it turned out very well. So it is better than it was with a little playing. Still not great, but better. So anyway, there's our link. You can see it from this side. And then here's the top of it. So, like I say, I'm not real happy with the way the wraps went here on the gold one, but all in all, I think it's what it's supposed to be. So there we go. There's our link. So anyway, here's our link. I can truthfully say that I'm not real happy with it. It didn't turn out as well as I would have liked, but with a little manipulation and playing, it's not bad. It's pretty much what the book shows. You see this one link up here at the top here, and see how, though it's both two coppers, so you can't see that there's a difference here, but it's pretty close. But yeah, I don't like the way the loops turned out. It fought with me a whole bunch, though it is a cool little crisscross there in the middle. And I don't know, maybe take a little bit of wire and wrap the two ends so they stay where they're supposed to be. But yeah, that's our over-under loop, our link, I should say. And that was from the Missing Link book on pages 86 and 87. Here's our link. I say 86 and 87, over-under link from our Missing Link book. This has been Rose from In Rose's Garden, and I have been working on a project from our Missing Link book that myself and Randy Brown of Thunder Horse Descendant have been working on, and I hope you enjoyed working on this with me. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.